Broadcasting live from atop the Rocky Mountains, the crossroads of the West. You are listening to the Liberty RoundTable Radio Talk Show.
All right. Happy to have you along, my fellow Americans. Sam Bushman live on TV, on the radio, on platform after platform around the world. This is Liberty RoundTable Live for November the 6th in the year of our Lord 2025. Promoting God, family, and country, protecting life, liberty, and property, doing so on your radio and TV in the traditions of our founding fathers, rejecting revolution unless it's a Jesus revolution, then we're in because we follow the Prince of Peace, and best of all, it's hard-hitting, truth-telling news the networks refuse to use at your fingertips, and it all starts now. We're going to have Heath Perkins with us, filling in for Brian over at Free Water Co. coming up pretty soon, freewaterco.com. Check that out. We're going to get an update on the Honest Money Report, of course, as we always do on Thursdays. And then, ladies and gentlemen, I've got some tidbits for you that I've got to cover. I don't know if these are good news stories or not. You know, I see emails everywhere. The civility is over in America. There's going to be no more civility. You got the Muslims in power in New York now. You've got all kinds of crazy extreme liberals and immigrants in charge of government in Minnesota. And it's just a crazy situation because in Minnesota is where Mike Lindell is, telling the tale on election fraud. The list just goes on and on. And so the dividing in America seems to just be increasing, even though I pray that that can change. The reality is it's very difficult when we have social media, mainstream media, politicians, professional do-gooders everywhere that really want to foment the divide. It's quite sad. So let me give you an example where we've got a massive divide that I think ought not be, if you will. Right? Here it is. Jimmy Kimmel criticized President Trump in his November 3rd monologue on Jimmy Kimmel Live. What did he criticize Donald Trump for? Hosting a Halloween party at Mar-a-Lago. And he has since responded by opening a food donation center. All right, so here's what Jimmy Kimmel basically did. He mocked Donald Trump and said, how dare you go to Mar-a-Lago and have a Halloween party? You're tone deaf. People are losing their, SNAP benefits, and they're going to starve, and you're partying at Mar-a-Lago, and shame on you, Donald. And there you go. But then he opens up his own food pantry center, which on one hand you could say is really good. On the other hand, you got to kind of wonder, it's real, but is it honest? Is it helping the cause? So the center is named Jimmy Kimmel Live Big Beautiful Food Bank. Okay? Jimmy Kimmel Live Big Beautiful Food Bank. They say it's located behind his Hollywood studio at 6901 Hawthorne Avenue, Los Angeles, California. They say it's open daily from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m., accepting what they call non-perishable food items and hygiene products. Kimmel urged his supporters in a social media post to donate or support local food banks to help American families who are suffering because of lack of SNAP benefits. Now, here's my issue. I really appreciate Jimmy Kimmel opening a food bank or opening this facility, right? Jimmy Kimmel Live Big Beautiful Food Bank. Now, I don't know how much Jimmy Kimmel is putting into it, but when you name it like that, is this really an attempt to help people with food shortages? If so, good for Jimmy Kimmel. If it's named after Jimmy to try to get back in the limelight and do something good for society and attack Donald Trump at the same time and make sure that your name's all over it, then I'm not, so happy about that. I don't want to judge Jimmy Kimmel's heart. What I want to say is this. Do we have to have these dissident, contrarian, divisive overtones in this? If you really want to start a food bank, instead of trashing Donald Trump, instead of trashing anyone, why don't you just say, hey, we're going to start a food bank. We believe it's necessary. We want to partner with churches and nonprofits and all kinds of groups to make things better. Hey, please, everyone, donate to the food bank. There's a real serious need out there. And it should be a way to bring people together, Jimmy. It really should. And this idea that you're going to call it a big, beautiful food bank to kind of mock Donald, to put it in his face, you almost lose the mojo. I don't want to attack Jimmy. I don't want to attack Donald. I don't want to attack anybody. What I want to say is that we need Christians to step up here. We need nonprofits. We need philanthropists. We need everyone. And I appreciate Jimmy stepping up here. All right, 9 a.m. to 5 p.m., that's good. Kimmel urged supporters in the social media post to donate to the food bank or support local food banks. So not necessarily only his own food bank, which I think is really good. But what I don't want to see is you slight Donald in the process. Why do we have to have this political overtone to it? The fact is, God teaches us, feed the hungry, clothe the naked, right? And that's something that I think we should do, whether you're a Christian, whether you're a Muslim, whether you're Jewish. I think there's a thread of kind of kindness and service and bearing one another's burdens that are in all religious faiths. Okay? And so, Jimmy, shame on you for kind of poking in the eye of Donald on this. Shame on you for making it political and blaming Donald or blaming the Republicans, or then the Republicans blaming the Democrats blaming the Republicans. Look, the fact is SNAP has stopped. And the fact is we, the American people, at the state level, at the philanthropist level, at the private sector level, need to step up and fill in the gap. That's what I pray we will do. So this is not meant to be an attack, but it is meant to kind of say, hey, can't this be about opening a food bank and encouraging people, saying, hey, we have got to fill in the gap. Christians, it's time to do your duty, right? And not have it be political in nature. Can we take care of our neighbors? I saw an article when neighbors are taking care of neighbors more than we've done. This is a good thing, folks, not a bad thing. Amazon, for example, has done something pretty interesting as well. And again, they might be in it just for the money and the publicity and the whatever, but it's pretty interesting to say the least. Amazon has introduced a 2025 Thanksgiving meal deal. It includes a butterball turkey. It's a frozen turkey. And then enough sides to feed 5 people. It's $25. Think about that. A Thanksgiving meal feeding 5 people for $25. That's $5 a person for a good, nice meal. The bundle, they say, is available from November 12th through the 27th and can be ordered either online or through stores at Amazon Fresh and at Whole Foods markets with same-day delivery in, certain areas. The meal includes items, listen to this, home-style stuffing, mashed potatoes with gravy, green bean casserole, cranberry relish, crescent rolls, and a holiday pie. Now, you got to say that's a pretty decent meal. Amazon Fresh does not require an Amazon Prime membership for purchases. Now, Prime members do get extra benefits and extra delivery options and exclusive details if you're a member, but this isn't just for Amazon members. And I'm just saying this is a really good way to help people. I don't know how big the turkey is or, when they say it feeds 5 people. But if you're one of those people that don't have SNAP and you've got a neighbor or a friend or a loved one or somebody, because it's Amazon, you can literally order this and give it to anybody. I mean, I live in Utah. I could give it to somebody in Florida or Alabama or Texas or, California, wherever. $25 and I feed 5 people. Now, I've got several family members and loved ones and people who could probably use this support. And let's say they have 2 in their household. What it really means is you've got a great meal and some tremendous leftovers. I mean, you could, eat a nice Thanksgiving dinner. Then the next day you could have some of the rolls with some of the turkey, put some of the cranberry sauce on it, a little extra, bean casserole or mashed potatoes, or even bring something out of your, pantry if you have any food, some soup with it. You could make 2 or 3 good meals out of this. If you don't eat a lot, or if you want to be, kind of sparing and everything, $25. And it means that anybody could give it to any family anywhere. I mean, I think it's a tremendous opportunity. Now, I'm not really here to promote Amazon necessarily. I mean, I like Amazon, and we all have a love-hate relationship with Amazon in many ways, right? But at the same time, this, in my opinion, is huge, and it's an opportunity. So, Jimmy, Mr. Kimmel, what I'd like to see is how many of these meals are you going to buy for loved ones? Are you going to say, hey, you know what, if you need to come to the food pantry and get some support, we've got these, $25 meal deals, and hey, maybe people could just donate to that? I mean, there's so many options there for that. When we get back, we'll talk about Cece's Pizza. They're doing something pretty interesting, too. And again, could it all be for the money? Maybe. But I'm not judging anyone's hearts. I'm just saying, when we find ways to feed people and clothe people and give people shelter and stability and safety, that's America, baby. This is Liberty Roundtable Live.
Why don't we say to the government writ large that they have to spend a little bit less? Anybody ever had less money this year than you had last? Anybody ever have a 1% pay cut? You deal with it. That's what government needs, a 1% pay cut. If you take a 1% pay cut across the board, you have more than enough money to actually pay for the disaster relief. But nobody's going to do that because they're fiscally irresponsible. Who are they? Republicans. Who are they? Democrats. Who are they? Virtually the whole body is careless and reckless with your money. So the money will not be offset by cuts anywhere. The money will be added to the debt, and there will be a day of reckoning. What's the day of reckoning? The day of reckoning may well be the collapse of the stock market. The day of reckoning may be the collapse of the dollar. When it comes, I can't tell you exactly, but I can tell you it has happened repeatedly in history when countries ruin their currency.
This is a battle between truth and deceit, a battle between forces that would enslave this country in darkness and between a media that wants to present you with the truth. We are being censored. America's news outlets no longer provide the truth. 90% of news outlets in the United States are controlled by 6 corporations. The mission of the Epoch Times is to chase the truth, to ground all statements in fact.
TheEpochTimes.com.
Looking for an IT partner that truly understands your needs? Managed IT Services is the answer. We meet with you regularly to discuss your goals and form a tailored technology plan. Our customers have called us a trusted advisor who delivers. When it comes to IT, we do it all. Firewalls, cloud storage, server migration, and more. Say goodbye to long-term contracts and hello to a team that earns your business month after month. Call 801-706-6980 now and let Managed IT Services transform your IT experience.
All right, back with you live, ladies and gentlemen. So I'm saying to Jimmy Kimmel, you know what? Good for you to open a food bank, buddy. And I really agree with you 100%. I don't know that I've ever agreed with Jimmy Kimmel on anything, ladies and gentlemen, but hey, there's a first. Come on, baby, for everything. Jimmy, you're right. We all need to donate to food banks. We all need to try to find a way to support food banks. And you know what? Good for you for opening one. I don't really like the political overtones of your agenda there, but you know what? It's good. And I really appreciate Amazon introducing this meal deal. $25 to feed 5 people for Thanksgiving. It's pretty cool. And I commend Jeff Bezos at Amazon for that. And I'd really like to see what other grocery stores could do. Do we just need Amazon? What about some of the other big grocery chains? I think they could offer something that could really make a difference. And then the rest of us could start maybe, GoFundMe's or ways to raise money. Hey, you know what? If you got the right organization that we could trust, you could make a difference in people's lives. Well, Cece's Pizza, they've got an agenda to promote Cece's Pizza. But the reason that I bring them up is because this is timed very interesting. Check this out. Cece's Pizza is celebrating the launch of its loyalty program, Cece Rewards. What does it do? It offers $2.99 adult coupons, I guess, to go to their buffet. Now, if you're willing to sign up for their new, whatever you want to call it, their new program, it's like the rewards program, right? Cece Rewards, I guess, is the best title I can come up with for it. So if you're willing to sign up, you can get a $2.99 all-you-can-eat meal. Think about that. $3. They say, well, why $3? Well, number one, it's not like the dollar menu, but close, right? They say the promotion, described as matching the price when Cece's opened 40 years ago, is aimed at honoring past and new customers. So 40 years ago, When would that be? 85? Yeah, 1985. When I graduated from high school, Cece's opened, I guess, right? $2.99 for an all-you-can-eat buffet. Heath Perkins with me, freewaterquencoat.com. Welcome back, sir. And what do you think? 40 years ago, you could get an all-you-can-eat pizza deal at Cece's for $3, buddy.
Shows you the inflation we're dealing with. It's insane to see how much our dollar actually went back in the day versus now. So how much further it went. But yeah, how are you doing, Sam?
I'm doing fantastic, sir. So here's the interesting thing about this. Right now, their normal price is $9.99 or $5.99 for children. Now, it varies slightly per location, they say. The $2.99 voucher can be redeemed at any of Cece's Pizza, 269 locations across the United States. And anyway, you can earn extra points and all kind of benefits once you sign up and everything else. But I'm just thinking, so their normal price 40 years ago was $3. Now it's $10. What's that? 300+% inflation on that thing, Heath?
Oh yeah.
Whoa.
It's insane. Like, that's one of the best businesses you can be in, is the pizza business. The markup is very healthy to keep pizza places in business, and so I can see how they can drop those prices and still, break even on some of it. But yeah, it's insane to see what they have to charge in order to make a profit.
Yeah, and the reason, by the way, ladies and gentlemen, pizza is such a good business to be in is the ingredients are fairly simple for the most part. Meaning that the crusts and the cheese and the sauce and you can have a few sauces, but for the most part, a lot of that ingredients can be used across multiple different orders and different choices. The other reason is because it's easy. You don't have to cook something with these flash ovens that they have now and all this kind of stuff. They don't even need to have anything pre-ready for people at all. And so they don't have a lot of waste in terms of, we created too much food or whatever. Usually the pizza places in many cases have simple sit down, or sometimes it's not even a sit down place. So it's a good business to be in, but I'm just highlighting this, especially on the Honest Money segment, because 40 years ago, $3, all you can eat, baby. And now it's $10, all you can eat. And I'll bet you the $10 in time won't be very sustainable very long either. But anyway, so Cece's getting into the mix. And, it's kind of a great way. For $3, you can go all you can eat pizza. And, whether that has salad and all that, I think it has salad. And it's not a perfect meal, but man, if you're not doing very well, it's not hard to get a little bit of money to go eat Cece's Pizza and then to go get this Amazon deal. And then, hey, drop by Jimmy Kimmel's food pantry. And, before you know it, we can feed the hungry, Heath.
Oh, yeah. It doesn't take much. It's interesting to see, like, there's a lot of books that I've kind of perused through that are pre-World War I that talk about certain growing methods that were so productive that the government told us to stop using them with food. And then that's when all the fertilizers kind of stepped in. But there were productions and things like that just could feed everyone, and the government said, hey, you're going to start losing value on all your produce because it's going to be too cheap to sell because there's too much of it. But yeah, there's entire segments of growing now that are going back to those earlier methods. Electroculture is one of them. But it produced, and we've kind of stepped away from those roots of production and gone into the simple and easy ways of just mass production and petro fertilizers. So we've kind of taken too many steps back, and we need to go back to, systems that were working prior and that were producing far more than what we're producing now.
And ladies and gentlemen, one thing to think about is when you let all your food production be in the hands of these global, massive corporate interests, hey, if they have a glitch in their distribution, if they have a glitch in their manufacturing or a problem with, some kind of an outbreak or so, hey, man, you have massive instant food shortages. If we, the people, learn to decentralize, if we, the people, learn to focus on production ourselves, instead of thinking I want to be completely self-sufficient all by myself, it's better to think I want to be community self-sufficient. Me and 20, 30, 40, 50 of my friends or families that I know or people, around can produce just about anything. You can't do it all yourselves. It's too much crazy work. Especially with the lifestyles we want to have, nice, big, fancy houses, AC in the summer, nice heating in the winter. Hey, that's not really sustainable all by yourself to make happen. It just isn't. At the same time, though, if you do community stuff, you can really make it happen. Somebody else, hey, they've got if you kill a deer or raise a pig or raise a cow, hey, they'll butcher it for you. They've got all the facilities, all the capabilities. There's nothing wrong with relying on community people. Then they come to Sam Bushman when they want to work on their computers or they want to do this and that. And, we could create this big barter community. And that's really what we need to do. Think about it. A silver eagle, silver dollar, ladies and gentlemen. Big money now. Used to be $1, but now it's big money. What's gold and silver looking at right now, Heath?
Gold's sitting at $3,985.70.
$39.85.70.
Yep, and silver's sitting at $48.14.
$39.85.70, and then 40. What was it?
$48.14.
48.14. I'm writing it down for my show notes at the same time, guys, and I'm not very good at it. 48.14. That means that silver's even more up than we remember. I mean, it hit $50 or whatever, but then it dropped to 40. Now it's back up again. Silver's doing a little bit better than gold right now, even, right?
Yeah, they're both kind of holding just underneath the 4,000, underneath the $50 range. But it's just relieving the pressure that we had over the last 3 weeks. You can't just have the silver bugs who are out there, they've been waiting for 40 plus years for that $50 high. And it happened and it held for 2 weeks. So the market is ready for additional highs. It just had to let off some steam with this pullback that we're seeing now. So now's a great time for anyone because it doesn't seem like it's cooling off. The market is still moving forward. Yes, there was this pullback. Yes, you have a few odd things that are happening in the market with refineries and others. They're only accepting pure right now versus anything that has additional metals outside of the bullion. And so you've got a few weird things out in the market, but the market's already accepted over $50, which took 40 plus years to do. They tried back in 2011, but it couldn't quite do it. And on silver. And so you're seeing this just hold underneath this, and it's waiting to push itself back through. There's not a lot holding it back anymore, because now the ceiling can be whatever the market truly directs it towards. It's the scarcity that's going to start being the concern that I'm going to start having.
In other words, the paper plays aren't going to work anymore, folks, because people are realizing they need to take possession. And when that happens, it ain't going to be very good, because most deliveries will not happen. Make sure that doesn't happen to you. Heath Perkins with me, ladies and gentlemen. freewatercoinco.com. We'll continue in seconds. I just want to say this, though. Think about it. A silver dollar or, spot, 48.14. So just say $50 for $1. That means you could buy two people the $25 Amazon meal deal. And that way you could feed 10 people for $1. It reminds me of a story I read. I'll tell you about it when we get back from the break. We'll also talk to Heath about some other interesting things happening in the economy. We'll do it in seconds. You're watching Liberty Roundtable Live.
Protecting your liberties. You're listening to Liberty News Radio.
Breaking news this hour from Town Hall. I'm Rich Thomason. Former House Speaker Nancy Pelosi says She will not run for re-election. The 85-year-old Democrat has represented San Francisco for close to 40 years. Her decision to step aside ahead of next year's midterm elections is not totally unexpected. She has been a fundraising champion for the Democrats, having raised an estimated $1 billion plus down through the decades. Starting tomorrow, the FAA will cut the number of flights at the busiest airports by 10%. It's due to staffing shortages amid the ongoing government shutdown.
FAA Administrator Brian Bedford says the reduction during the government shutdown will impact thousands of flights nationwide.
We're not going to wait for a safety problem to truly manifest itself when the early indicators are telling us we can take action today to prevent things from deteriorating.
There have been staffing shortages among air traffic controllers who've been working without a paycheck. Some have called in sick.
If the pressures continue to build, even after we take these measures, we'll come back and take additional measures.
Major airlines, aviation unions, and the travel industry have been urging Congress to end the shutdown. Ed Donahue, Washington.
A child among the 12 people killed in Tuesday's fiery crash of a UPS cargo plane in Louisville, Kentucky. Federal Air Safety Investigator Todd Inman says there's evidence that one of the plane's engines fell off prior to the crash.
I do believe that is the engine from the left side of the plane. It is actually on the airfield, so it's not off the airport property. That correlates with the video that we've seen of it detaching from the airplane while it is in flight.
Investigators have recovered the plane's flight data recorder as the search for victims of the aviation disaster goes on. Several people are still unaccounted for. Wall Street, the Dow down 176 points, NASDAQ off 135. More on these stories at townhall.com.
Hey, I'm Mike Slater. My dad passed away at the age of 63. It's out of nowhere. Had a stroke. Super hard, obviously, for the whole family, but my dad had life insurance. This is why I have life insurance for my family, for my wife and 4 kids. And the best place to get life insurance is ethos.com, because you can do it in 10 minutes. And there's no medical exam and no blood test, just a few health questions. Get life insurance in 10 minutes so your family is protected. Ethos, E-T-H-O-S, ethos.com/Mike.
Progressive knows road trips without your pet can be tough.
Hi, this is Next Stop Dog Boarding.
Hi, it's Scott again. How's Squeaks doing? You can tell if he's stressed by his eyebrows. Oh, and his breathing should sound like this.
Scott, Squeaks is exactly the same as last time you called.
Okay, let's talk in 20 to see if anything's changed.
With Progressive, your pet is covered up to $1,000 in vet bills in case of a car accident. So next time, you can take your pet with you. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates, not available in all states. Coverage for dogs and cats is included with the purchase of collision coverage and subject to policy terms.
Have you ever had great honey? No, I mean really good, all-natural, raw honey? Well, now you can, thanks to localhoneyman.com. We can ship out our locally made honey all across the U.S. So don't worry, you won't miss out. Plus, Local Honeyman has so many different flavors, like Utah Wildflower, High Desert Delight, Happy Valley, and Blackberry, just to name a few. So purchase your delicious raw honey today at localhoneyman.com.
As you are aware, America is divided over every fault line possible. This is intentionally fostered by those who do not love God, family, or country. We believe a peaceful future as a free people absolutely depends on civility. Clarion Call for Civility is looking for funding and volunteers at every level to make our hopes and efforts a reality. Please donate, sign our pledge, and help us in our sacred cause. Please visit callforcivility.com for more details. Callforcivility.com.
Attention collectors and savvy investors. We are excited to announce a momentous evolution in our journey. Introducing Free Water Coin Company, formerly known as Rust Coin and Gift. This rebranding takes us back to the very roots of where it all began. Free Water, Oregon. It's a tribute to the legacy of Al Rust and a celebration of 3 generations of dedication to excellence in the world of coins and precious gifts. Al, Brian, and Jake Rust standing strong through 64 years of service. Discover a world of exceptional service at Free Water Coin Company, your premier destination for genuine, honest money and precious gifts. Under Brian's expert guidance, Free Water Coin Company, building on the legacy of Rust Coin and Gift, continues its tradition of trust and excellence. Visit us at our Provo, Utah location. Explore our treasures online at freewatercoinco.com or call us at 801-377-1574. Free Water Coin Company, where your future is built one honest coin at a time.
All right, back with you live, ladies and gentlemen. It's Sam Bushman, Heath Perkins on your radio. It is the Honest Money Report. Yes, indeed, ladies and gentlemen. Gold right now, $3,985.70. Think about that. Almost $4,000. Used to be $20 for a dollar gold, or for an ounce of gold. $20 for an ounce of gold. Now it's $4,000. Silver, ladies and gentlemen, used to be $1 per ounce. Now $48.14. And Heath, that's not even really what you can get a silver eagle, silver dollar for. That's just the spot price, right?
Correct. Yeah. So the lowest you'd be paying for a 1 ounce silver round is about $2 over that.
So just say simply $50.
Yep. Correct.
And then how about a silver eagle, silver dollar? Because those are usually worth a little bit more, right?
Yeah, you're about $6 to $7 over on those. And so you're, 54 to 55 on those.
Wow. All right, there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. But you could literally buy 10 people dinner if you got two of those $25 Amazon deals. You can buy 10 people dinner for $1. Now, this is a funny thing. I was reading a book, and I mentioned a story, and I'll tell this story just a little bit. But a friend of mine started paying people in back in the day when things were tough economically. He started basically paying people in silver dollars and everything, and the government came and said, hey, man, you can't be doing that. You're not paying the right taxes and everything. And he smiled and he tossed the guy, silver dollar. He said, how much is that? How much can I buy with that in taxes? The guy says, he looks at it, says, well, it's $1. He said, okay. The guy never came back. What do you say to that, Heath? Doesn't that tell the tale?
Well, yeah. I mean, it's real money. It's the only form of real money we've had for 4,000 or 5,000 years. I mean, the Roman Empire is already, gone and no longer exists, but yet their silver and their gold they issued is still silver and gold, still valuable. Doesn't matter if the government or the empire that existed that created the money is gone. The money is still valuable, and we need to understand that. That's what it is. It has stood the test of time.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, constitutional currency is real money, ladies and gentlemen. Everybody understands the value of gold and silver. Even if they're not expert, at everything, they intuitively understand because it has intrinsic value. When you see it, when you hold it, you know that it has value, right? I mean, that's really, in my opinion, the key issue here. Well, that's real money, Heath. But I got a fake money story for you that I find kind of interesting. Headline says, fake movie prop money. Movie prop money has been found circulating down there in the Florida Keys. That's according to the Monroe County Sheriff's Office over there. And they say it's a big problem. The officials warn on a social media post that these $100 bills, well, they're marked as only to be used on the movie set, but they look real enough, and so people are passing them off, buddy. Earlier, the Key West Police Department had issued a warning about fake $20 bills on September 23rd, I guess following a business that reported them. And both of these departments, so the Sheriff's Office and the Police Department, have advised the public to carefully check their bills. So what, the government doesn't like competition? Is that the problem here, Heath?
They don't like competition, and so there's something interesting that I've noticed been going on. They're trying to get us to lose faith in our currency as well. They want to go all digital. They've allowed China for the last however long to produce all these fakes that are flooding into our market at insanely cheap prices. So the Chinese aren't trying to rip us off, but they are being allowed to sell to citizens in the U.S. that are wanting to rip other citizens off. I get fake coins all the time, fake silver rounds, fake items. And it's interesting to see how, if you can allow your community or your country to lose faith in its currency, you can move and shift off to something that you want, which the central bankers want, which is a digital currency. And it looks like this isn't just here in the U.S. Like I've heard reports of this happening. I mean, I saw this in my mission when I was younger, and in Hungary, you had fake stuff there from the Chinese as well, way back 20 plus years ago. This isn't something that's new, but it's starting to ramp up in higher volumes than we've ever seen before, and nothing's really stopping it. But it's to help us lose faith in our currency. I mean, if you lose faith in your coinage and in your paper money, well, what's the other alternative? It's, hey, here's a safe digital system over here that can't be broken, this blockchain kind of thing. I mean, that's the direction they want us to go. And it's easy.
That is now the big play for currency in the United States used to be so you've got two kind of ways to think about the dollar. What is it doing on the international or outside of the United States, and what is it doing inside the United States? For years, the communist Chinese play to manipulate currencies and play games with money has been kind of outside the United States. Domestically, it was a lot harder. Now, though, it seems to me that with illegal alien invasion, with the list goes on, society, civil unrest, now they're starting to make the play domestically as well, Heath. And that's kind of the shift that we're seeing. The problem is it becomes more holistic in its manipulative power, right?
Yeah. Yeah. It's very simple to see. I mean, no one's stopping the influx of these. I mean, I can go on to Temu and buy $1 million worth of fake bills for $25. I can buy a bunch of fake silver Morgan dollars, for a couple bucks a piece. Like, they're not trying to rip off the initial purchaser, but they're putting up the need or the items that would allow that individual to then rip off a fellow citizen. I mean, it's almost like they're setting this stage, and it's really getting discouraging to see these large platforms that are offering. I mean, even Amazon. You can go on Amazon, you can see the fake $100 bills, and it's not a lot for $1 million fake $100 bills. It's kind of worrying, but we were always putting things in place, and they always have a different feel. So if you use a lot of money and a lot of cash, like most coin shops do, you're very familiar with the feel of money, and so there's a very distinct difference between the two. But there's also pins and things you can use to mark on those to verify. But it's I mean, I've already mentioned this to the whole staff here that I can go on to these websites and pick this up for nothing. So they're starting to become more and more aware of, you got to look at.
So help me understand, how do people detect these kind of silver coins that are fake and stuff like that? Is there an easy way for the average person to kind of detect it, or do they need to bring them into someone like you to run some tests, or how do they know?
The easiest way to detect anything is comparison. With a good eye, focus on details, and a comparison, you'd be able to detect most things. When it steps beyond, okay, I still don't know, that's when you would come into your shop and say, okay, and there's devices that the shops have that can test, the surface as well as a pass-through test that goes through the coin to verify the resistance to that metal in the settings that we have on these devices that allow us to do that.
It's basically based on the density and some of that kind of stuff, and different metals have different numbers that relate to the density. Is that how it is?
Yeah. Okay. And so resistance that the wave is being sent through it, if it meets the right resistance or within a certain parameter, it will pass it off. If not, it will fall. Outside of that, I've had multiple individuals who've done deals on Facebook Marketplace where they've gotten fake gold bars. There's a lot of things, and they come in just excited to cash those in and to move forward in whatever they're doing, but to come back and find out they're fake. So if you're going to be picking anything up or trading anything for precious metals, make sure that you tell them, hey, I'll meet you at a coin shop, or I'll meet you wherever you need to, but with someone who has a refiner or someone who has a machine that can actually test that coin and verify, because that's the cheapest cost you'll ever spend towards, instead of picking up a fake 1 ounce gold bar, like I had one guy pick up about 5 of them. And so he was just kind of stuck. Got police involved. I don't know what happened after that. But it's a sad thing because a lot of people are picking up these fakes and they are trying to pass them off to fellow citizens. They really can't pass them off here because we have the machinery to detect it. And so they know they don't want that. And if you sell anything to a coin shop, you got pawn shop database you're part of.
So the point is, what you're saying is usually the person that walks in is not the one that's responsible. They just got duped, or else they probably wouldn't be there, is the point, right?
Exactly. And that's the
all right. Hang tight. Heath with me, ladies and gentlemen. We're talking about freewatercoinco.com. It's important to learn about honest money. And boy, have we seen the Federal Reserve betray us all with the current prices of gold and silver. Liberty Roundtable live in seconds.
Bypass the mainstream narrative with Liberty News Radio at libertynewsradio.com. Engage with charismatic hosts live or on demand. We cover the crucial news focused on God, family, and country. News that other networks simply refuse to use. Think of LNR's hard-hitting news and podcasts at your fingertips, anytime, anywhere. Join us at libertynewsradio.com. Empower your day with the truth, because the truth will set you free. libertynewsradio.com.
Introducing Managed IT Services from NPI. We offer top-notch data backup and recovery, email spam protection, and network security tailored to your needs and budget. With 20-plus years of experience in the medical field, our HIPAA-certified consultants know what it takes to protect sensitive information. Don't settle for less. Give us a call at 801-706-6980 and experience the difference with Managed IT Services. Remember, your IT support should be fast, efficient, and reliable.
You know where the solution can be found, Mr. President? In churches, in wedding chapels, in maternity wards across the country and around the world. More babies will mean forward-looking adults, the sort we need to tackle long-term, large-scale problems. American babies in particular are likely going to be wealthier, better educated, and more conservation-minded than children raised in still industrializing countries. As economist Tyler Cowen recently wrote, quote, "By having more children, you're making your nation more populous, thus boosting its capacity to solve climate change. The planet does not need for us to think globally and act locally so much as it needs us to think family and act personally. The solution to so many of our problems, at all times and in all places, is to fall in love, get married, and have some kids."
All right, back with you live. Heath Perkins with me, freewatercoinco.com. We're talking about honest money, folks, but we're also talking about fake money. And every country that embraces fake money eventually melts down and has trouble. And now you're literally seeing in Florida $20 bills and $100 bills that are fake. Both departments, the sheriff's department and the police department, are saying, hey, man, you got to check your bills. I don't know how the average person really checks bills, except for I think that Heath has the answer. You've got to just compare. Grab a real $20 bill or a real $100 bill. If you need a real one, go to the bank. They're as real fake as you can get at the bank there. Real fake ones, you know what I mean? You're looking for real fake ones compared to fake ones, right? Right, Heath? That's how you got to compare real fake ones to fake ones, you know?
Exactly. Yeah, there's a specific PIN that you can also use that most cash registers have at like grocery stores and stuff, but it marks it. If it stays yellow, then it's a fine. The paper is fine and it matches what it should be. If it marks it and it turns a darker color, then you have a fake on your hand. So there are, simple ways of doing it outside of just the feel and the comparison. But yeah.
All right. This is a food point that I want to make right now. Here's the headline. China's hands are in Americans' bacon and hot dogs and other meats. We should be very concerned, new report says. And so they go into this. China has really made some moves into everything related to our food, whether it's the chemicals used to protect plants from bugs, whether it's, special fertilizers to help the plants and crops grow, and they've bought American companies They even refer to Nathan's hot dogs in the report. At the end of the day, they're saying, hey, these guys have their hands in our food production and every aspect of our food. This could be a serious problem. My response is, you think? Now, what's interesting about this is Trump's bringing this up, and the Democrats are mocking Trump right now, going, oh, my gosh, why don't you just let the economy roll? And Trump's like, no, this isn't safe. We got to protect the American people. Trump's right on this. The problem is I don't think Trump's doing near enough, and the only way that I know to combat it on a personal or a community level is to start to grow a lot of your crops yourself, or partner with neighbors that are doing some of this. If a neighbor's got a cow, you can get some milk, or if somebody has chickens, you can get eggs from them. We need to start to grow it's like the victory gardens of yesteryear, modern times, based on necessity, Heath.
Oh, yeah. No, we kind of going back to the victory gardens in World War II, like, our communities used to be very family oriented before World War II, and then they became kind of more of a cookie cutter. Here's a house that you can afford, yada yada. We used to have family compounds, 10 acres and the family would be on it. But we have this negative stigma around compounds or around small communities that work together. A lot of negativity around that, a lot of negative words, and our history, really highlights these things, kind of as if that's not the direction you should be taking. Take this direction over here with your mortgage and all this different stuff, and don't work with the family. But it seems like that's part of the reason why they're making that so negative. Is that's the solution. The solution to us is smaller communities. The larger and larger community you get into, the harder and the further and further away you are from the actual production of anything. When you can kind of get back to what reality is and actually producing real food and your real needs, you don't need a huge community to do so. There's no need for all of that. You can still participate in those from a distance in a sense, but when we can get back to a communal system that allows us to help each other, I mean, everything makes sense. I mean, go back to the Amish. The Amish build every new married couple, a home. They never start out with any debt. I mean, it's a beautiful system to look at and to think about, because all of us who jump into a mortgage are, tied for 30 years and owing someone an amount of our earnings every single month. Where this community, they just go and they build them a house. It's not anything fancy or crazy, but they let them furnish it and everything else, but they have a roof over their head as soon as they get married. I mean, that's an amazing communal system, and we need to start going back and looking at these things and saying, hey, is our comfort really as affordable as we think it is? Because for 30 years we're tied to this mortgage, a debt to someone. Is that really worth it to us versus, hey, let's have a few less comforts and focus on the basic needs and actually enjoy life and not have to do so much to earn that, income every single month for that mortgage. I mean, it's insane how much.
Well, and there's solutions if we would just heed to them. I mean, one of the things that they used to do in yesteryear is multi-generations would live together, and they'd live together long enough for people to make enough money to get a solid down payment and get a reasonable interest rate and a reasonable, mortgage payment. Even that can help. A lot of times people can learn to live together and pay off one house, and then both people can put double payments on another house. I mean, there's a lot of ways to not pay or to reduce the interest paid that people need to really think about too. And I think we've lost that creativity. We've lost that willingness to sacrifice. We've lost a lot of those things that could make a tremendous difference, but we're so focused on first world problems, we can't get there, Heath.
Yeah, and if you compare the house sizes back in the 50s, 900, 1,200 square feet was kind of the max house size. Like they weren't creating a home to where you were indoors all the time like we're creating today. They were creating a home that met the needs for protection and keeping the rain off of you. And you were meant to be more outside. They weren't creating these large locations in the home that you could, hang out in all day long. It was, you got some bedrooms, you got some bathrooms, you got the kitchen, the living room, and it was basic. But now we want, 3,000 to 4,000 square foot homes or larger, because we want to spend more time inside versus they wanted to spend more time outside, and their homes weren't accommodating of spending as much time inside as ours are now. So that's another thing to look at. I mean, we've overcomplicated a lot of our lives by going larger. We think it's, more simple, but we just gathered more things when we go larger and have more stuff in our home. And it's just, it doesn't help us. We're feeding that consumerist side of our community that really hasn't helped us a lot. Economically speaking, you've got, the Keynesian side of economics, which is taught here in the U.S., or you got Austrian, form of economics, which is taught elsewhere. But Austrian is about a nation that saves and has a high savings rate. Like China has a 50% savings rate. The U.S. is sitting at a 2 or 3% savings rate, if that.
At best, yeah. And the problem is the 2 or 3% savings rate's getting obliterated by the hidden tax called inflation. It's something people really need to understand. And the problem is, I think people just aren't taught in the ways of thrifty, behavior, or whatever you want to call it, frugal behavior. We need to really work on that in our society, though, because I don't think we have the crisis we think we have. When everybody has to live in their own home, when everybody has, an illegal invasion taking too many homes, no wonder we have a home crisis. When the government controls most of the land west of the Mississippi, then, hey, you got a land problem, you got a housing problem, and all these problems can be exacerbated by humble people saying we're going to work together. We're going to multi-generationally take care of our parents and the elderly people. We're going to go ahead and, and hey, it can be done. You can do this with cars too. Everybody thinks they have to have 4 cars for family. But if you got 2 or 3 or 4 families together that live close to one another, you could have 3 or 4 cars and use them more like a motor pool of car. Hey, I need the pickup today. And you can create a little schedule, and hey, the one's using the pickup, you can go ahead and take it today, no problem. And, we could save so much money on so many things if we just pooled our resources. It's what they used to do, and it's what rich families do. You could save up enough money to privately insure your own family. Just be like, hey, we've got enough assets in the bank to insure ourselves. Big families, wealthy families do that kind of stuff all the time. Everything they do turns into money for themselves, or the lack of spending it or giving it to others. Nations used to do that. Now we've got this global economy that jettisons that principle. But this is something that we really need to kind of understand. If we barter for things and save a lot of money, if we pool our resources and save a lot of money, if we think of interest as the enemy, we all productively sacrifice together to get something and to be prosperous, it's absolutely doable. Families through the history of the world have proven success in this, Heath.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah. And even scripturally speaking, when you have all things common among you, like think about a neighborhood of 50 homes. How many shovels are in those 50 homes? Maybe 2 per house. How many shovels are being used each day? Maybe 5 at max. If instead of having to buy 50, you only had to buy 5, like how much money could you save? Same thing with automobiles. If you had a community that was using, the main automobiles, you could reduce that 50 homes could reduce their overall spending by hundreds of thousands of dollars when you start seeing all things common among them. And we're far from it. We've got a long way to go before anything like that happens. But when those communities came together and there was all things common among them, they prospered exceedingly and quickly. And there's something to that.
It's all about solutions, ladies and gentlemen, and that's why Liberty RoundTable Live wants to be at the center of it. We don't want to just complain about the problems. Yeah, we're willing to highlight and truth tell about the issues. We also want to provide productive, realistic opportunities for you. We never want to present a problem without a solution. You might not like our solution. Nevertheless, they're time-tested. We study history. Heath Perkins, thank you so much, my friend.
Yeah, very welcome, Sam. It's good to be on.
We'll talk next week. Heath Perkins is with freewatercoinco.com. You've got a buddy when it comes to knowing if your money's real or not, and somebody to help you understand the value and invest right for stability and prosperity. I'm Sam Bushman, lovingliberty.net. Spread the word. God save the Republic of the United States of America.